So again, for those of you, as I mentioned just before, if you're planning on heading out, lucky enough to be able to do some traveling, maybe starting pretty soon. If you have to go to the airport, we heard the horror stories last year about cars trying to access the airport, how some of the long waits actually caused people to get out of their cars and walk the rest of the way. That's how bad it was. But there are some tips this year for how you can maybe make that experience a little bit more enjoyable. Anne-Sophie Hamel is Montreal Airport's spokesperson. She's on the line right now. And thank you for being here today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So let me begin, first of all, with that. People who are going to be driving out there, whether it's, first of all, let's deal with departures, right? It's been a bit of an issue in the past. What's different now? Because I understand you've added parking spaces as well. What's different this year from last?
Yes, well, we put in place different measures, mitigation measures, we like to call them, just to give passengers and their meeters and greeters some options when they come to the airport. As you mentioned, last year was hard. There was a lot of traffic congestion going into the airport. We had record high number of passengers. We're still going to have a lot of passengers this year as well. So what we did is that we added 2 express drop-off zones that are separate from our main drop-off section that's in front of the terminal. So we have 2 new drop-off zones that people can access. One is in our P4 parking lot. The other one is on our P10 parking lot. And those drop-off zones are out of the traffic congestion, so they're a little further down the terminal, but they're linked with a shuttle service every 5 minutes, so people can either wait a little longer to get through the main drop-off zone and access directly to terminal building, or go a little bit further down and get there quicker.
Okay. Well, so I'm trying to imagine now. I know the airport a little bit, so that these new zones, would you still be coming up that ramp, or you're not going up there anymore with these new zones?
No, there's different ways.
Okay.
Depending on where you're coming from the 520 and the 20 east or west, there are different ways. If people go on our website, yule.com, there's a section dedicated to those new drop-off zones, and there are different plans that you can look at. You can also put your departing address in Google Maps through our website, and it's going to give you the fastest way to get there to not get into the congestion.
Like with up to the minute sort of road conditions, like using Waze kind of an idea?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay, so that's for people who are looking, if you're going there to take off. Now, if you're picking up, what's the situation with that?
Yeah, so what we saw last year is that there was a lot of people, about 20% of the people that were part of the congestion on the site going up to the airport were people just, driving around waiting for someone to get out of the airport. Yeah. So we wanted to take these people out of the traffic congestion by giving 40 minutes free in most of our parkings on the airport. So that's how serious we want to make sure that, people have options. It's rare that an airport is going to give free parking, but we're giving 40 minutes free. It's kind of an extension of what we already had that was called cell park waiting parking lots. So we're extending that to nearly all of our parking, so people can just go there and wait for their loved ones to get out of the airport. So it's 40 minutes free, and that should also ease the traffic congestion around the airport.
To understand, you go into this parking area, you get a ticket because you're parking your car, and then as long as you validate that ticket within 40 minutes, you don't pay.
Exactly. So it's a 40-minute, it's a période de grâce, we say in French.
Yeah, grace period. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question, though, having gone through this before. When you're there to pick up somebody, you're on the main level, like street level. You pull over for what you think is 2 minutes because someone texted you saying they're coming out.
Yep.
There are officers there who I don't think have a lot of patience. They keep trying to move you on, saying you can't stop, you can't stop. Is that ever going to change, or how does that work?
Well, our main drop-off zone is a drop-off zone. It's not a parking. It's not somewhere that people can wait for people. It's as we said, there's a lot of cars going in and out, so we want to make sure that people get moving. What we see sometimes is that people even leave their car there or park there or say their goodbyes on the drop-off zone, which is not the role of a drop-off zone. So that's why we're giving the 40 minutes free in parking, so that people can go in the parking lot and, give hugs and kisses and make sure that they can say a proper goodbye to the people or their loved ones that they're driving to the airport. But on our main drop-off zone, especially during peak hours when we have a lot of cars going there, for us it's important to have people there. Our security team is there just to make sure that cars go by quickly and there's a good flow on the ramp.
So you're still chasing people out who are going to be at the bottom?
Well, we want people to, just
use the other way. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
I got it.
Exactly.
Okay. Couple of things with respect to clearing customs and all that kind of stuff. I did not know this, but you actually have a couple of things where if people arrive early enough, you have mobile passport control if you're going to the U.S. How does that work?
Yeah, so we have different applications or digital ways to accelerate your way through our different checkpoints. So mobile passport control is one of them. Going through the U.S., you can fill out your pre-border clearance in this application, and when you get to U.S. Customs, you have access to a priority line. Same thing for people departing international, domestic, or U.S. flights. You have your screening checkpoint. You can also, through our website and an application called Yule Express, you can pre-book your passage at security checkpoint. And once again, you have a priority line there. It works very well, so you don't have to wait with every passenger going through security. And we have the same thing for customs. So with Canadian Border Service Agency, I'm guessing you remember the application Arrive Can, which was the application that we used during COVID time to put our health information. This application is still working, and you can use it to enter your information for customs. So when you come back to Montreal, you want to save a little bit of wait time at customs. You do that. You can do it 72 hours prior to your coming back into Montreal or other airports in Canada. And you also have access to a priority line, and the whole process at customs is much quicker because you only have to scan your passport and take your picture. So it really saves up time.
I can vouch for that. I've actually used that, and it does work quicker, so that's good. One last thing I want you to mention, I did not know about this. If you want to avoid waiting, speaking of parking, you can pay for your parking online from your mobile device?
Yes, you can reserve your parking online to make sure that you have the spot that you want in our many parking lots, and you can also pay for your parking online. You can pay also with your phone at the gate, so there are different things that people can do, especially during summer. We always advise people to maybe reserve their parking in advance. As I said, we have a lot of parking on the airport, but if you want to make sure that you have a space in the parking lot that you wish to go to, there are parking lots that are closer to the terminal building, some that are a little further down. You have to take a shuttle. So for people that want to make sure that they have the space in the right parking lot, they can do it online. Okay, so
Yule.com, and that's where you can get all this info to begin with.
Yes,
all right.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your time, Anne-Sophie. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron.
Take care. You too. Anne-Sophie Hamel, Montreal Airport spokesperson. So at least they're making an effort to make things a little bit better. I think that's half the battle, so good on them.